You've just stepped through a door to another dimension, a passageway between light and shadow, at the crossroads of fear and superstition. It's here you'll find a web of twisted tales from a twisted scribe, where logic surrenders to the absurd, and imagination is your only key to this area of an unfamiliar map that I like to call the Greyson Slate podcast. Well, welcome to the show. I'm Greyson, and this is my podcast. This is the very first episode. Thank you very much for listening to me and for sharing this inaugural episode. I'm your guide, your narrator here on the other side of that door. Starting things off, I think now is an excellent time for us to get to know each other a bit. Maybe I should go first. I'm a writer, storyteller, animal-loving carnivore. I had an early sort of exposure to dark literature and media. It shaped my writing, my humor. I feel like I was raised on Serling and Hitchcock. I spent summer vacations with the Crypt Keeper, slumber partied with Freddy and Jason, cuddled with Chucky, and worshipped at the church of Craven, Carpenter, and King. And the result of all those things is a morbid personality, sure, but also the twisted tales that I will present to you in this ongoing anthology. Now, in each episode, I will share a short original story that can stand alone if you wish, no particular order, although the characters in the anthology do exist in a mutual space, the same dimension, if you will, so there's bound to be some crossover and some larger story arcs revealed along the way. So that's Greyson Slate in a nutshell. And now it's your turn. I'd love to hear from you on Instagram or Twitter. Just search for Greyson Slate, or leave a voice message for me on my anchor.fm page. You can find all these links at greysonslate.com. Tell me what you think about the show, send questions. You'll also find podcast updates and listener polls that'll be included in future episodes. Even giveaways coming pretty soon. So just give me a follow and drop me a line. So without further ado, I submit the following story to begin our journey. Episode 1, Soothsayer. We begin on a road trip. Quite fitting, don't you think? In a comfortable-looking SUV, cruising down the interstate, sits an average-looking clan on a fun-filled family drive to places unknown. One might take notice of them and wonder, what fun lies ahead of them today? What beautiful memories are they creating? But perception is everything, isn't it? If we take a moment to scratch the surface on this picture-perfect tribe of travelers, well then, the reality begins to shift a bit. Today is anything but celebratory for the Porters. The mood in the family vehicle is tense, to say the least. Mother is exhausted from packing 4 suitcases and 2 children on such short notice. Father is dazed, driving, but on autopilot, mourning the sudden loss of his mother. Brother and sisters gran. In the back seat, brother is upset, but it's because he's missing soccer practice, and he's also annoyed to be stuck next to his little sister for an 8-hour drive to New England. And sister might be better at introducing herself. Case in point, last September, at the start of her 3rd grade school year, each student was made to rise from their seat and introduce themselves to the other 20 or so 8-year-olds in Miss Marble's classroom. While most of the other kids stammered and mumbled their way through their names, sister was more detailed, direct, articulate. "My name is Primrose," she said, "but I prefer to be called just Prim, if you please. Daddy insists on calling me Little Miss Prim and Proper, not Funny. Mommy calls me Rosie, but I won't even respond when she does. My brother, he calls me Schizo. which is kind of true and kind of mean. My best friend is Beecher. Beecher is very smart, and Beecher is always right. Back in the SUV, temperatures are rising. "Quit hogging all the arm room, schizo," Prim's rowdy 12-year-old brother is hollering as he wields his sharp elbows like daggers towards his little sister, defending at least 51% of the back seat to claim as his dominion. Mom pleads from the front for them to settle down, but lacking any backup from Dad, nor energy to repeat herself, the bickering continues like painful elevator music. Finally, Beecher has a word for Prim. "Let's tell him," an evil voice whispers inside Prim's head. Though broken and graveled, Beecher's voice is soothing to Prim, familiar and comforting. Beecher has shared this space between her ears for as long as she can remember. Prim knows no different and thinks of Beecher as an all-knowing soulmate. Mom lovingly refers to him as her invisible friend. The doctors call it a psychological hallucination brought on by onset childhood schizophrenia, hence the nickname. "Mom, the schizo's breathing on me," brother continues. Mom pleads some more, but not too much. Certainly not enough to stop the bickering. "Tell him," Beecher whispers again. Dad rubs his eyes, switching off hands between his face and the steering wheel. He's barely listening to the kids go at it. He's tuned out to his wife's exhaustion and the fervor building just a few feet behind him. All Dad can think about, what he hasn't been able to stop thinking about since last night when he received that frantic call from his aunt, was how Prim, just 2 months ago, had come to him, wide-eyed and inquisitive, asking if Graham could send her birthday presents early this year, since she was going to be dead before the day came. She knew, Dad kept thinking. He was horrified at the time, and he was even more horrified now. He asked Prim why she would say something so awful, and she was honest. Beecher was the Soothsayer.